All right, this was on my mind a little bit as I still settle in, as I still, you know, get used to things here in Kazakhstan. Excuse me. And I was thinking I may do a live later. Maybe I will do a live later. I don't know. I'll think about it. But um, everybody knows that I'm into boxing. Everybody knows that I still practice boxing. Everybody knows that I just value grappling and combat sports in general. I'm a very avid combat sports person. But of course, you know, I have a conviction that if I'm going to watch something, I'm going to partake in it as well in one way or another. So, yes, I do partake in boxing, of course. And perhaps here there will be some fight opportunities. I just recently settled in a new gym here. So I will, you know, see what happens. But anyhow, I've noticed something. I've noticed something, and I have to just call it out to very much reinforce the point of the Western dislike of Islam and also just the Western exceptionalism in which I see. So, Countess Shemaev, he put on a masterclass performance, shut out DDP um, in a grappling technical masterpiece. The thing is that even he was asking his corner, even, can I stand up and fight with him? Can I exchange with him on the feet? And his corner even said, nah, just continue to do what works. So that's the first point, is that he wanted to he actually wanted to get his grappling or his striking on. That's the first point. It was his corner that did not want to get the grappling on. Um, the second point is that the amount of, and I'm just going to say it, the mentality is what makes these guys dominate in the sport. There's a well-known hadith, or maybe it's a little lesser known hadith. The hadith is where the Prophet ﷺ says Allah loves a slave who is basically self-sufficient and does not seek fame and is obscure. And the thing is about these mountain people is that they do have the fame, but they're not seeking it. I mean, Kamsa Shemaev was concerned with the bag more than he was the belt after he won the belt. He was about the money. Uh, Islam Makachev is the same way. Uh, Marab, he's a bit more, I guess, on the flamboyant side, but you know, it is what it is. Taporia, he's kind of a wannabe Conor McGregor, in my opinion. And Islam Makachev, of course, always down to earth, always chill, always low key, basically. Um, but one thing I've noticed is the amount of racism in the comment sections and by some MMA fighters like Sean Strickler, calling Kamsat Shemaev a terrorist. It's really unbelievable, okay? You would think that if there is a winning formula and these guys are winning, and there's other guys in the ranks who are coming for, who are basically coming for, I want to say, so, about to solidify their place in the ranks, basically, from this region. Rather than be racist, you would think that they would maybe take heed and take notes and maybe follow. But no, because of Western exceptionalism, they don't do that. In fact, what I notice is the more of these mountain people become champions, the more that these people from the steppes become champions, the more racism there is. Okay, the amount of comments in the comment section that are anti-Islamic are very, very crazy. Although Islam is not a race, the race of Caucasians are pretty much majority Muslim, with the exception of Georgians and Armenians. Um, it's very, very crazy. Okay, that these people will sit here and just continue on making these crazy, I want to say just these crazy comments. And it's just really an underlying hatred for Islam. Okay? It's an underlying hatred for Islam. For some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, these people prefer uh, Western exceptionalism, which includes degeneracy, which includes more than two genders, which includes inbreeding. You won't believe this, but there was this one woman who went on that one bigot Charlie Kirk's show, said that her dad raped her, but then decided to keep the baby from the grape. So essentially, what she did is she had her brother. And all types of things like that, you know, all these type of things. They rather take that than, you know, order, structure, gender roles, and discipline among one of the most important things. Now, I want to say something because this is going to be a rather short video. There's one page on Instagram called Actually Caucasian. Shout outs to her. Actually Caucasian is a woman who is from Circassia. Okay? Unfortunately, her people got a bad deal with Russian expansionism. There's, well, yes, I will say it's a bad deal, but what I will say though is that the although there are still some open wounds from that bad deal of expansionism, the Circassians, these mountain people, still kind of have a bit of autonomy, which is a good thing. They have a bit of autonomy, which is good, you know. But you know, actually, Caucasian, she is very, very big on dispelling the term of Caucasians. You know, because for most people, the Caucasian is people from Britain, white America, Germany, Western Europe as a whole. But in reality, they're not Caucasian. Scandinavians are not Caucasian. These people are Anglo-Saxons. Irish people are Celts. The real Caucasians are from the autonomous republics in Russia, like Chechnya, Ingushetia, Dagestan, Karachi. Uh, I think there's one called Balkaria, yes. Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia. Those are the real Caucasians. And while there are some who do share some features with Anglo-Saxon, for the most part, they look different. For the most part, you can tell they're distinct. As crazy as it sounds, that even the Armenian, Arman Sarukian, who is another UFC fighter, a Christian one at that, from Armenia, even he unfortunately gets the racist side as well. So it's just very, very odd to me that, for example, they'll support a DDP who is a recipient of apartheid, basically. They'll accept him, but they will not accept, they won't accept Kamsa Shemaev. And it's just very, very weird to me that all these, because in every comment that I'm seeing on Instagram, be it about Islam Makachev, be it about Kamsov, be it about Arman Sarukian, or someone like that, there's some kind of like little sly racist comment about them. I always said this, that racism never ended, it just became more visible under Trump. These are how these people have always felt. Okay? One of my Dagestani friends, yeah, I said this in previous videos, but during Soviet times too, because they were trying to make things uniform, and what I mean by uniform, just have like a uniformity in culture and language and things like that. They unfortunately, there's unfortunately slang words for, people from these regions, and also people from, I want to say, where I am, Central Asia. And one of the slang words was, I'm trying to remember it in Russian. I'll have to look at it more. But the word for black in Russian is cherny. And so the thing is that's what they call these mountain people, is like cherny. Now, I say this because, she actually Caucasian, she tries to dispel the myth that, that her people are, Anglo-Saxon adjacent when they're not, because it's just based on how she's been treated, and how, and now that with the advent of UFC, seeing how UFC fans really feel about them, and so I say this to say that And this is another video. This is probably what my live will be about. I say this to say because a lot, and I probably have said it before, a lot of USA foreign policy and European foreign policy is based in racism. What's happening in the Congo, what's happening in Sudan, what's happening in Yemen, what's happening in Palestine. These people would never try that on, say, or give people the tools to do it on, say, like anywhere in Western Europe. It will never happen. They'll never let something like this happen. You'll never hear about like Anglos or Celts being a downtrodden people. Okay, you'll never hear that. But with that being said, just let me know what you think about this. And I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just keep it brief. There's definitely a difference between a Casper Karen, from UK, Canada, or a Medina from the Kavkaz. Total difference. You can definitely tell the difference between the two. Definitely, you can see a difference in it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that at that. The latter, being the latter being more, I would say, 1,000 times more attractive than the Casper Karen. Of course, Medina is more attractive than Casper Karen, but that's another story. But anyhow, I just noticed that it's kind of weird that all these fighters from Kavkaz are living rent free in these racist UFC fans' head. Well, anyhow, I'm not gonna even edit this video. It was just something that was on my mind. Fuller signing out. Njarama.